This morning, you did something 2 billion people did with you. You reached for a cup of coffee. You didn't think about it. It was automatic. The same warm, dark, bitter ritual that starts the day for a third of the planet. But for almost all of human history, that cup didn't exist. Nobody had ever tasted it. And when they finally did, it didn't just wake people up. It got banned by kings. It funded empires. It was smuggled across oceans strapped to a man's chest. Some historians argue it helped spark the Enlightenment itself. So how did a bitter little seed, one nobody was even supposed to eat, end up rewiring human civilization? The answer runs through monasteries, revolutions, and a single stolen plant. And it starts with a problem nobody could solve: how to stay awake. Let's start with the mountains of Ethiopia, because that's where the coffee plant is actually from. And it's the reason any of this was possible. There's a legend you've probably heard: a goat herder named Kaldi, sometime around the 9th century, who noticed his goats dancing after eating red berries off a wild shrub. It's a good story. It's almost certainly not true. It was first written down centuries later in 1671, but strip away the goats and the core fact holds: the coffee plant, Coffea arabica, grew wild in the Ethiopian highlands, and people there had been using it long before anyone wrote it down. They ate the berries, they brewed the leaves, but coffee as you know it, roasted, ground, brewed hot, that wasn't born in Ethiopia at all. It was born across the Red Sea, in Yemen, and it was born in prayer. By the 1400s, Sufi Muslim monks in Yemen had a very specific problem. Their devotions ran late into the night, and staying awake was agony. Then they found coffee, roasted, brewed dark. It did something no other drink could. It held off sleep and sharpened the mind for hours of worship. They called it Coffea. And here's the part changed everything. It moved out of the monastery and into the street. The port those beans shipped from was a town called Mocha on the coast of Yemen. For centuries, Mocha was the coffee capital of the world, so completely that we still say Mocha today. And by the early 1500s, coffee had traveled up into the great cities of Islam: Mecca, Cairo, and eventually Constantinople. And that's where the coffee house was born. Not just the drink, the room. These places had a name that tells you exactly what they became: Ave Khane, schools of the wise. People gathered, they talked politics, they played chess, listened to music, argued theology, traded news. For the first time, there was a public place, not a tavern, not a mosque, where anyone with a coin could sit for hours and think out loud. And that terrified the people in charge, because here's what nobody tells you about coffee: it has been banned over and over by rulers who understood exactly what it did. In 1511, the governor of Mecca, a man named Khair Beg, outlawed it. He was afraid of what men said about him in the coffee houses. In the Ottoman Empire, Sultan Murad IV went further. He made drinking coffee a capital offense. There are accounts of him disguising himself, walking the streets of Constantinople, and personally executing anyone he caught with a cup. Think about that. A drink so dangerous to power that an emperor would kill you for it. Not because of what it did to your body, because of what it did to a room full of people talking. They couldn't stop it. It was already spreading west.